Okay, welcome to a new game for my latest Let's Play. This is the Stanley Parable. I'm actually really mad because I just finished Gone Home, and I recorded the whole thing, and it was great. It was going to be a very fun Let's Play, and I liked it, and it got good, and the videos were great, and then I accidentally deleted the whole thing as I begin to learn how to use this software. So, let's see if we can do the same with the Stanley Parable, and record a whole bunch, and then lose it all. This is the beginning. I have no idea what this game is about. Never have I even started it in my life. These are my options. I'm going to click Begin Game. Again, no clue what this is about. I hope it's good and doesn't suck. The end is never the end. That's a good sign for someone looking to finish a game. So is this a trick? Or it's not really loading? Is this game just a big trick? What's happening here? It's like my computer is frozen. Says it's working, but it doesn't feel like it. Well, this is a fun one. I'm glad you guys tuned in to this Let's Play, part 1, of Stanley Parable. Here we go.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Thank you.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
Yeah, baby.
Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on the keyboard.
Push my button, baby.
Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year.
I wonder if I can use a controller for this.
Though others might have considered it soul-weaving, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Until...
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley.
What was it?
Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him.
4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42.
To give him instructions, call him,
Execute,
or even say hi.
4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42.
The company had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong.
I'm not kidding you. Type that in.
Frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
All right, I'm in control. I'm not kidding you. If I could type in 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42 right now into that computer and hit execute, I would save us a lot of hassle. All right, I got to do something real quick. Options. I apologize. This is a frustrating deal. Where is it? Oh my gosh. Where is invert? Is it this? Let's see if that does it. I need inverse. There we go. I'm inverted now. All right. So I can move around. Pretty simple. I'm using a controller. And the right analog moves my look. Left analog moves me. All right. What time is it? Remember when you had to use these kind of clocks? Oh, it's 11:24. Okay, so it looks like the A button interacts. Oh, and there's no, like, pointer. Oh, no. I just locked myself out of my office.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
They gone.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
This looks like the meeting room, maybe. I can't open anything. Nope. Can I open this one? Nope.
When When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I feel like that's a trick. Oh, I feel like that's a trick. I'll fall for it. Alright. Nothing there. Am I supposed to be clicking these things? I don't know if there's a way to open those. Every time I click them, it just... I hope I can play the keyboard.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Alright. So, what I'm judging from this is there's a man telling me a story. I wonder if I can just do whatever I want and he's a trick. Meeting room. There's a lot of stuff in here. This feels like a really tricky game. Do not alter without consulting whiteboard. Manager. Alright, let's see if I move the mouse. I'm going to see something real quick. I'm going to pause it, and I'm going to check the options. I'm going to go to my keyboard. I'm going to see what edit keys does. So there is a duck button that I can have somewhere. And there's no... Okay, I just wanted to make sure that I've got all the buttons accessible. I just need to figure out what duck is. Let's see. Where's duck? There it was. Left bumper. All right. So I think I've got everything I can do. Bi-quarterly post, review. We need less reviews, something, work harder. I'm 427, right? So if I see anything about 427, that's me. More water coolers, more cooler heaters, more water cooler heaters. Charts need to be more hip to appeal to teenage demographic. Find teenagers to put it in teenage demographic. All right, so this is just a big trick, isn't it? What do people want? Things, money, more money, things, but with money. All right. Well, let's keep on exploring. I feel like I'm just... Oh, man, every time one of those closes. Oh, I opened something.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
All right, that's a lie.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
See, that makes me think there is something here.
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet F.A.
This butthole. Alright, I'll let him...
Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I'm going to do everything that this guy doesn't tell me to do.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
This is awesome.
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical star field, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
This is trippy.
Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd,
This guy's confusing.
this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself? Believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself?
Oh my gosh.
Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life.
So,
Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to
let me
Stanley.
out of here.
After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt,
Let me out.
that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the
longest.
magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that?
This game blows.
This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove
Hey,
it.
what prove it
He
to
would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream.
Oh my gosh.
So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up.
Oh, God bless
He
you.
felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one.
dead.
Let me wake up, he thought to himself.
Oh my
I'm through with this dream.
Let me do something.
I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons.
Let me be
It's all I
done.
want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job.
And a gun.
All I want is my life exactly the way it's always
Yes, of course.
been. My life is normal. I am normal.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Everything will be fine.
Who are you, Britishman?
I am okay.
This is why we revolted from you. Honestly, British man, this is why we revolted and made our own country. Because you just talked way too long.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone
Let
tell
me
I'm
do
real.
something.
I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I?
Oh.
Everything went black.
Thank you. And then I died. Game over?
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Huh.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other.
The heck is this
She
game?
rose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted
Did
by
I
the
lose?
body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk.
Did I die?
Although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body.
I hope
And
an
then she
anvil
turned
falls in
away.
her head. Did I lose? Did I just lose the game? What the dick just happened?
All of his co-workers were gone.
I lost.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
That was the
Perhaps he had
longest
simply missed a
loss.
memo.
You won't trick me this time, stupid voice.
when Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay. Okay.
Yet there was not a single person
not a
here
single one.
either. Feeling a wave
Get
of
Chris out of the
disbelief,
broom closet.
Stanley decided to go up to his
Get
boss's
Chris out of the
office,
broom
hoping
closet.
He might find an answer there.
Get Chris out of the broom closet. That's what that says. Hire somebody. I'm going to get Chris out of the broom closet. I don't know what that means, but can I click on it? Ongoing targets. Push for funding. Please keep the targets on top. Who moved my desk? All right. Broom closet. Chris is in here.
Oh, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
All right, shut up.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Yep. Suck it.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
Can I break stuff?
Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
2845, all right.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. No. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Is there something back here? It's so dark. Where am I? Oh no. I got lost. I can't see anything on the screen. Oh, I saw something there. Alright, well. That was terrible. Sorry about that. Alright. That's it? That death was the worst thing that's ever happened to me in a game. It was you can't do that for 5 minutes.
Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word Escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Oh my gosh. Let's meet my violent death then. I dare ya.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Yeah. I want to meet my violent death.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward.
Yes.
And willingly confront his death.
Yep. I actually want to see what happens. They weren't lying. They actually weren't lying that time. This game's tripping me out. Oh no.
As the machine whirred into motion and As Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plugging the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
See ya.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Huh? What?
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
Oh, there's my phone. Hold, please. Let me turn that alarm off. This game blows.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Okay, the rest of the game emerged as an extension of it. This is awesome. This part I like. The pacing of this opening section was important to get right. This quarter has been moved and altered to make sure the players reach the two doors in a good time. The blueprint shows the office from the beginning of the game. The path from Stanley's office to the two doors was the first part of the game that was built. Sections have been added and altered throughout development, though the core layout remains almost identical to the first iteration. Wow, this is trippy, man. Major printings. Alright, what do they got here? What is this? I feel like there's a lot of secrets in this game. The office. Button sounds. Throughout the... Alright. Some credits. This is weird, man. I don't think I like this game. Early in development, we designed an ending where Stanley would end up on a battlefield fighting aliens. The action game would become sentient, and would wage war against the narrator. We realized shortly after starting to build it, it was far too jokey and on the nose for the tone of the game. Plus, some people interpreted it as making fun of people who like shooters, which was not our intention. All right. What the crap is this? The point of the Stanley Parable HD remix is to lose. The point of the Stanley Parable is to win. These screenshots of the Stanley Parable HD remix. More endings, fewer endings, more narrators, fewer narrators, more Stanley, less Stanley. Oh my gosh. Can I click one? Alright. This is the weirdest game I've ever played in a million years. The second version is functionally the same as what's in the final game, but we wanted to look more like a place where cargo was actually stored. The cargo lift was always intended to offer the choice of staying or jumping to a different path. However, after the early version, we decided we also wanted their option of falling to their death. All right. One option. Two options. What about this? What the heck is this? Meeting room. Maintenance layout. The flow of the hallways following the first two doors was important to get right. Since players will replay them so many times, we discussed a number of designs, but ultimately it was the simplest version that won. Oh my gosh. What is this game? Zending levers. These levers were originally part of the Zending. The player would pull a lever and the narrator would describe what color they had pulled. Doesn't allow me to do it. Depicts an early version of the ending known as Zending, which eventually cut and merged with another part of the game. Okay. Awesome. Z Ending went through many iterations. This room represents the fourth version of the ending, and we thought it was complete, but decided to abandon and to change it again shortly before launch. I don't want to read anymore.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
I turned you off.
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another?
Oh, no.
No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path.
All right.
Stop now and it'll be your only true choice.
I'm gonna get smashed.
Do
Suck it.
choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time.
Sucker. You can't trick me. Unless you just did. Whatever happens, this is going to be the end of part 1 of my Stanley Parable walkthrough. And if you want to go through more torture, you can tune in a little bit. I can't get out of this. Escape. There it is. And resume the game. All right. I'm going to quit. You can tune in for another one.